December 1944, the Ardennes Forest, Belgium. What history will call the Battle of the Bulge, but right now it's just hell frozen over. Lieutenant James Holloway is 23 years old, American infantry, and he's been pinned down in a bombed-out farmhouse for 6 hours. German artillery has been pounding their position all morning. The walls shake, dust falls from the ceiling, men pray in whispers, then the shelling stops. Silence, worse than noise. Everyone knows what comes next. The German infantry attack comes fast, through the snow, through the trees. Holloway's squad fights back desperately, but they're outnumbered. Outflanked. Within 20 minutes, it's over. Holloway takes a round through his left shoulder, goes down hard. When he opens his eyes, there's a German officer standing over him, Luger pistol pointed at his chest. The officer is young, maybe Holloway's age. Tall, blonde, the kind of face that Nazi propaganda posters love. "American," the German says in accented English. "You are wounded." Holloway's too tired to be scared. Too much pain, too much blood loss. "Yeah, I noticed." The German officer doesn't shoot, just stands there looking at him with an expression Holloway can't read. Behind him, German soldiers are rounding up the survivors. 5 Americans still alive. The rest won't need medical attention. "What is your name?" the German asks. "Holloway, James Holloway, Lieutenant." "I am Hauptmann Werner Braun, Captain." He lowers the pistol slightly. "You fought well, bravely." Holloway doesn't know what to say to that. You're supposed to hate the enemy. That's the whole point. But this German officer isn't what he expected. There's something in his eyes, something tired, something almost respectful. A German medic patches Holloway's shoulder, not gently but competently. They're taking prisoners, not executing them. Holloway counts that as a win. Before they march the Americans away to a POW camp, Captain Braun approaches Holloway again. He's holding an envelope, white paper sealed with wax. "Lieutenant Holloway," Braun says formally, "I have a request." "I'm not really in a position to grant requests," Braun almost smiles, almost. "This letter, it is for my wife, Greta, in Hamburg." He holds it out. "If I die, if Germany loses, and we will lose, I think I want her to have this. To know," he pauses, searches for words, "to know that I loved her, that I was thinking of her." At the end, Holloway stares at the letter. "You want me to deliver your letter? I'm your prisoner." "Today, yes. But tomorrow? Next month? This war will end. You will go home. I may not." Braun's voice is quiet, matter-of-fact. "I have watched too many good men die because old men in capitals decided we should kill each other. I am tired of it, so I ask you, not as your captor, but as one soldier to another, please, if you survive, if I do not, deliver this letter." It's insane, taking a letter from the enemy, promising to help him. Everything about this moment violates every rule of war Holloway knows. But there's something in Braun's eyes. A desperate honesty, the look of a man who knows he's not going home. "Why me?" Holloway asks. "Because you have kind eyes," Braun says simply. "Because I think you understand. We are the same, you and I. Different flags, same mud, same fear, same hope that maybe someone will remember we were human." Holloway takes the letter, tucks it inside his jacket. "If I make it, if you don't, I'll deliver it." "Thank you." Braun extends his hand. After a moment, Holloway shakes it. 2 enemies, 2 soldiers, 2 men who'd rather be anywhere else. "I hope you survive this war, Lieutenant Holloway." "I hope you do too, Captain Braun." They never see each other again. Holloway spends 4 months in a German POW camp. Stalag 9B, cold, hungry, but alive. The letter stays hidden in his jacket lining, sewn in carefully one night when the guards aren't looking. In April 1945, Allied forces liberate the camp. Holloway goes home to Illinois, gets discharged. Tries to forget the war, tries to forget the faces of friends who didn't make it, but he can't forget the letter. He takes it out sometimes, looks at the address, Hamburg, Germany, Greta Braun, a woman he's never met, married to a man who captured him. He tries to find out what happened to Captain Werner Braun, writes to the War Department, no record of him surrendering, no record of him in Allied POW camps, just nothing, which probably means he died somewhere in the chaos of Germany's collapse. Holloway keeps the letter, tells himself he'll deliver it someday, when he's ready, when he can face going back to Europe, when the anger fades enough to remember that moment in the snow, two soldiers being human for just a minute, but 1945 becomes 1950. He gets married, has children, builds a life. The letter moves with him through every house, always hidden, always waiting. His wife finds it in 1958. What's this? A promise I made. To who? A German officer during the war. She looks at him like he's crazy. Maybe he is. He was your enemy. He was a soldier, like me. He asked me to deliver this to his wife if he died. Holloway takes the letter back. I said I would. That was 13 years ago. I know. Can you even deliver it? Do you even know if she's alive? No, he admits, but I promised. She doesn't understand. How could she? She wasn't there in that frozen farmhouse. Didn't see Braun's eyes, didn't shake his hand, didn't feel that strange moment of connection between two men on opposite sides of a war neither of them wanted. The years continue, 1960, 1970, 1980, the letter yellows. The wax seal cracks slightly but holds. Holloway retires. His children grow up and move away. His wife dies in 1995. He's alone now, 74 years old, living in a house full of memories and silence. The letter is still in his dresser drawer, underneath old photographs and medals he never wears. He takes it out more often now, wonders if Greta Braun is still alive. She'd be in her 90s if she is. Wonders if she ever got any letters from her husband, wonders if she thinks he just disappeared, wonders if this letter, 50 years late, would bring closure or just reopen old wounds. In 2004, he makes a decision. He's 83 years old now, not much time left. If he's going to keep his promise, it has to be now. He finds a genealogy service online. His grandson helps him use the computer. They search for Greta Braun, Hamburg, Germany, born around 1920. It takes 3 months. Dead ends. Wrong Greta Brauns. Women who died decades ago, women who never existed. Then they find her. Greta Braun, age 87, living in a care facility in Hamburg, widow. Husband reported missing in action, 1945, never remarried. Holloway stares at the screen. She's alive. After 60 years, she's still alive. His grandson prints out the information. Are you really going to Germany, Grandpa? I made a promise, Holloway says. 60 years ago, I made a promise. To a Nazi. To a soldier, there's a difference. He books a flight, October 2004, first time back in Germany since the war. His children think he's lost his mind, an 83-year-old man flying overseas to deliver a 60-year-old letter from a dead German officer. But Holloway doesn't care what they think. He made a promise to Captain Werner Braun in the snow in Belgium, and he's going to keep it, even if it's 60 years late. October 2004. Hamburg, Germany. Holloway hasn't been to Germany since 1945. Everything has changed. The rubble has been cleared, the cities rebuilt, the Germany he remembers, burning, collapsing, desperate, is gone. This Germany is prosperous, modern, clean. It makes the war feel even more distant. Like maybe it didn't happen, like maybe he imagined that frozen farmhouse and the German captain with tired eyes. But the letter in his pocket is real enough. The care facility is nice, nicer than he expected. Clean, bright, nurses who smile, old people in wheelchairs by the windows watching the world go by. Holloway asks for Greta Braun at the front desk. The nurse looks surprised. Are you family? No, I knew her husband during the war. The nurse's expression changes, becomes careful. Mrs. Braun doesn't get many visitors. Her memory is not what it was. But I'll ask if she'll see you. She leads him to a sunny room on the third floor. An old woman sits by the window in a wheelchair, white hair, thin, fragile in the way very old people are, but her eyes are clear when she looks up. "Mrs. Braun," the nurse says in German, "you have a visitor. An American. He says he knew Werner." Greta's eyes sharpen immediately. "Werner?" Her voice is soft but steady. She looks at Holloway, switches to accented but fluent English. "You knew my husband?" Holloway nods. His throat is tight. "Yes, ma'am, I did, briefly, in Belgium, December 1944. "You were there?" She studies his face. "You are American soldier." "I was, yes. Were you—" She pauses, chooses her words carefully. "Were you his prisoner, or was he yours?" "I was his prisoner for about 4 months." Understanding crosses her face. "Ah, then you knew him at the end, before he—" She doesn't finish, doesn't need to. Holloway pulls out the letter. His hands are shaking. 60 years he's carried this, 60 years of weight. "He gave me this," Holloway says quietly. "The day he captured me, he asked me to deliver it to you if he didn't make it home. I tried to find you after the war, but everything was chaos. Then the years just kept passing. I'm sorry it took so long." Greta stares at the envelope like it's a ghost. Her hand comes up slowly, touches it with one finger, traces the handwriting. "Werner's hand," she whispers. "I know this hand." She takes the letter with trembling fingers. The wax seal is still intact after 60 years. She breaks it carefully, gently, like it might shatter. Inside, 3 pages, filled with German script. Werner's handwriting from December 1944, reaching across 6 decades. Greta reads, silent. Tears start streaming down her face, but she doesn't make a sound, just reads. Her lips move slightly, forming words only she can hear. Holloway sits quietly, waiting. This moment isn't his. It belongs to a woman and her husband speaking to each other across the infinite distance of death and time. Finally, Greta looks up. Her face is wet, but there's something else there. Too, something like peace settling into place after 60 years of not knowing. "He wrote this the night before that battle," she says softly. "He knew, somehow, he knew he wouldn't come home. He tells me," her voice breaks, "he tells me he loves me, that he is sorry he won't see our son grow up, that he wants me to be happy, to live well, to not grieve forever." "You had a son?" Holloway asks gently. "Yes, Werner never met him. I was 3 months pregnant when he left for the war. Our son is 59 now, professor in Berlin, 3 grandchildren." She looks at the letter again. "His father never knew he existed." "There's more," Greta says, still reading. "He writes about you." Holloway's surprised. "About me?" "Yes, listen," she translates slowly, carefully. "Today I met an American officer, Holloway. I took him prisoner, but I saw in his eyes a good man, a tired man, like me. I am giving him this letter to bring to you because I trust him. If you are reading this, my love, it means he kept his word. It means even in this terrible war, some men still remember honor. Some men still keep promises. Please thank him for me. Tell him I am grateful." Holloway's eyes are burning. He blinks hard. "He trusted you," Greta says softly. "A stranger, an enemy, but he saw something in you." "I don't know what he saw," Holloway says. His voice is rough. I couldn't forget him, couldn't forget the promise. It ate at me for 60 years, that I hadn't kept my word. But you did keep it." Greta reaches out, takes his hand. Her grip is weak but warm. 60 years late, yes, but you are here. You brought his words home to me. That is more than I ever hoped for." They sit together for a long time. 2 old people connected by a soldier who died 60 years ago. Greta tells Holloway about Werner, how they met, how they fell in love, how the war took him away before their son was born, how she waited for years, hoping for news that never came, how she eventually accepted he was gone but never stopped wondering what happened, where he died, if he thought of her at the end. "Now I know," she says, touching the letter. "He was thinking of me. He loved me. He wanted me to be happy." She smiles, sad but genuine. "I was happy. I raised our son. I taught school. I had a good life. But there was always a hole where Werner should have been. Now I have his words, his love. After 60 years, I finally have his goodbye." Holloway stays for 2 hours. Before he leaves, Greta gives him something, a photograph of Werner in uniform, young and smiling, taken before the war destroyed everything. "So you remember him as he was," she says, "not as your captor, but as a man, a husband, a father who never met his son." Holloway takes the photograph. "Thank you." "No, thank you for keeping your promise, for seeing him as human, for carrying his love across 60 years and an ocean." She squeezes his hand one more time. "You are a good man, James Holloway. Werner was right about you." Holloway flies home 3 days later. The weight he's carried for 60 years is finally gone. He kept his promise. The letter has been delivered. He dies 8 months later, peacefully at 84. His grandson finds the photograph of Werner Braun among his effects. On the back, in shaky handwriting, "Captain Werner Braun, 1921–1945. A good soldier, a good man. May he rest in peace." In Hamburg, Greta Braun lives another year. Her son finds the letter among her things after she dies, finds also a note she wrote explaining where it came from. How an American soldier kept a promise for 60 years. How even in war, even between enemies, honor can survive. He frames the letter, hangs it in his home next to his father's photograph, the father he never knew. And sometimes he tells his grandchildren the story about 2 soldiers who met once in the snow, about a promise made between enemies, about a letter that traveled 60 years to finally come home, because some promises are worth keeping, even if it takes a lifetime, even if it crosses oceans and wars and decades of silence. James Holloway kept his promise, and Werner Braun's love finally reached home.